A warm welcome for the session 3 of one-day national workshop on role of multidisciplinary education under NEP 2020. As said, true innovation is born when curiosity meets courage. I, Dr. Tasmin, Head Department of Zoology, member IQAC, welcome you all for session 3 on biological sciences in NEP era towards integration, innovation, impact. I welcome our distinguished speaker for this session, Professor Naresh Babu V. Sepuri, Head and Professor, Department of Biochemistry, School of Life Sciences, University of Hyderabad. I request our IQAC coordinator, Dr. D. Shrikala ma'am, to please come on the dais. I request additional IQAC coordinator, Dr. Francina, to please come on the dais. I request our esteemed guest, Professor Naresh Babu Sepuri, to place the dais. I request Dr. Shrikala to present green gratings to the speaker of the session, Professor Naresh Babu. It's my privilege to give a brief profile about our dynamic speaker, Professor Naresh Babu V. Sepuri, Head and Professor, Department of Biochemistry, School of Life Sciences, University of Hyderabad. Sir was awarded with PhD in Biochemistry in the year 1997 from University of Hyderabad, PDF in Mitochondrial Biology from the year 1996 to 1999 from University of Pennsylvania, PDF in Mitochondrial Biology from the year 1999 to 2002 from Johns Hopkins University, PDF in Human Mitochondrial Disorders from the year 2002 to 2004 from Thompson Jefferson University, RA in Mitochondrial Biology from the year 2004 to 2007 from the University of Pennsylvania. Sir is the recipient of American Heart Association Fellowship, awarded 11 PhDs and guided more than 100 projects and technical assistance. Published 40 peer-reviewed papers and generated grants more than 6 crores through DBT, DST, CERT, ICMR, Gates Foundation, and CSIR. Delivered lectures in more than 50 international and national seminars. Here are a few glimpses of selected peer-reviewed publications of Sir. Now I request our esteemed guest to please proceed for the session. Thank you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
When you change it, I can. Okay, at the outset, I would like to thank the coordinators for inviting me to give this lecture for Rajshekar. So you called me on what they can give it now. I said it's an opportunity to enlighten some of the knowledge I gained over the years and about the NEP program and why it is important in the Indian context. So my training I studied, if you imagine, I studied my education in the Silver Jubilee College in Kabul, and my entire education in Telugu medium. When I eventually moved into PhD, I got an opportunity to PhD at University of Hyderabad, and then moved to USA for law, and then gained a lot of knowledge. And then one day we decided to come back and to serve, I would say, motherland. So those days, the salaries, we were doing very good jobs in America, but we left our jobs and we came back to India. So since then, my interest is in research and development. So the problem in India is now the major chunk of people and students are coming from the state universities and colleges, not the central universities. The government is focusing more on central universities and IITs. So that is a totally wrong concept that India is approaching, because we are central universities and IITs contribute only 2 to 3% of the total human resources of students are coming out from the universities or IITs, but majority of the students are coming out from the state universities and colleges. So government must focus to integrate the colleges, students, and encourage them to do research activities so that India will be one of the probably superpower, or we can achieve I would not say superpower, economically living with a high standard. That is major importance. So why we started with the NEP? I have my own concept. India is not a country, is an innovation. We lost the innovation. We are totally towards the service-oriented industry. Okay, somebody gives a job to you and you have to make it and make money. Whenever he stops it, you will not have a job. So most of our IT employees becoming a service-oriented. Okay, whenever the country is stronger than manufacturing innovation. So we don't have that kind of. So these things popped up in the society or whatever in the government sector, and they think that the way forward is probably we can renovate or regenerate our education system by starting new education policy, and this education policy probably spread across all over India in the institutes as well as colleges, and thereby in at least in 10-15 years, nearly one of the countries that is leading the innovation and as well as in manufacturing. Okay. So that is the idea. And so today I'm going to talk about some of the what are how biological sciences can impact the NEP, how NEP program is important for the biological sciences. So it doesn't mean that biological sciences you must have heard morning school. Professor Rajashekar is an expert in the NEP. He must have given a lot of talks. Some of the slides may be repetitive, what I'm going to tell, but I'm going to give some examples why it's important to have a holistic approach in learning. The student, why student can have a holistic approach in learning? Because to solve some of the major problems, the diseases that are happening in the society. So this must be repetition. So the NEP policy basically describes a holistic approach towards education, and to make it a student-centric education rather than the faculty-centric education. So make it a more student-centric education so that you have a choice to select course that you want to do. Okay, I was discussing with your IQS people that you have to revamp your whole syllabus to achieve this NEP. It's not that easy. Even Central University is also struggling to implement the NEP in total. So this is a progressive phenomenon. So we cannot start anything at one go. So it takes long time to implement it. So that is the idea. So as this is a multidisciplinary system. Okay, NEP majorly emphasizes whatever the stream you are studying. So it should be a multidisciplinary. Okay, so people are studying chemistry or biology or arts. They may not be restricted to the only the knowledge in arts. So they may be doing in arts in the major. So NEP suggests that you should have a minor studies, and that will be open up for all streams. Okay, biology, computers, and social sciences, philosophy, any course they are interested in, they can opt for it. So that is the major grading system in the case of NEP. And this faculty development is also one of the criteria, because most of our faculty are not only, if you ask something in my physics, I have zero knowledge. I admit it. But my research, some of the research what I am doing is, it may require physics department operation. So I give an example. So when I was working at Johns Hopkins University, so in the water, what happened in a cell, if you take it a cell, so there is a mitochondria, you must have heard it. Whenever you know, it's the powerhouse of the cell. Okay, most of the energy comes from the mitochondria. But the problem is, mitochondria is originated from the bacteria. You must be knowing, it's evolutionarily millions of years ago. So alpha proteobacteria engulfed by the another proteobacteria. Eventually, the modern day mitochondria comes, the humans. So since it's coming from the bacteria, it has its own genetic material. Okay, but the genetic material shrunk so much. In the beginning, it may have the so many kilobases, but eventually in the humans, what we have is a very, very little genome, because it's originated from the bacteria. So what happened is, for the mitochondrial function, you need lot of proteins encoded by the nuclear DNA. So that has to come and go through the mitochondria. Post, what we call the process called, they have to be synthesized and they can go to the mitochondria. So we were working in the system, how these proteins, if you imagine any protein, your serum, human serum albumin, PSA, or any protein, they are folded proteins. Okay, they are globular proteins, and they cannot enter a system unless they stretch into a linear fashion. Okay, for that, how much they stretch, how do they enter into the pore? So this knowledge can be only achieved by the physical sciences. So what is the speed of this protein to enter into the mitochondria? So we have to collaborate with some physicists. So to determine the size of the pore, how these proteins are entering into the mitochondria, and what is the speed, what is the rationale of how these proteins are entering into the mitochondria. So old studies doesn't integrate this physical sciences and chemical sciences into the biology. So even though they are integrated, they are very, very limited. The important point is integration of sciences, arts, and vocational courses in the NEP era. So role of faculty. So go beyond traditional subjects. So that is the major idea. So whatever the subjects they are teaching, they are emphasizing on, you may be comfortable in teaching your subject, but with training and continuous training, you may go beyond whatever the traditional courses that you are teaching. That is not easy to come one day, but you need intensive training, online coachings, and there are a lot of tools are available, and collaborative research, and that also helps you in developing the niche of the problem, and then you can integrate into your teaching into other areas. So it is also involved problem solving tools for various domains. And the major criteria for the NEP, as I mentioned, is multidisciplinary vision. So biological sciences, I'm going to talk about a little bit about most of the topics, biological sciences. Why NEP era? So it want to integrate all the sciences together. So whenever you talk about biological sciences, then you only think about 4 major subjects: biochemistry, plant sciences, zoology, whatever you can call the biotechnology. And there are so many new subjects are coming up, and molecular biology, genetics, and you can integrate all these subjects together, and you should give a student a choice to choose the courses that he wants to. So for example, some students want to do major in genetics. It doesn't have to be all the subjects in the genetics. Okay, you should be a major in genetics, and you should offer at least 2 to 3 minor courses that should be outside of the genetics. should be from the biotechnology or from the systems or computational biology or from the zoology or microbiology. So major is one, but if you offer so many minor courses, including these other courses, then we will get an integrative approach of the overall biology. Besides that, NEP suggests that outside of the biology courses, so you should have a intern minors in outside of the biology. So like you can offer some arts courses, computer science, or you can offer physics, chemistry, entirely from the outside of the biology system. So some of the minors should be outside and some of the minors should be inside. So here at University of Hyderabad, implementing the first phase of the NEP program. It's already the students are in the third year and they are testing the model as discussed. So first phase implementation is adopting the NEP program. And adopting NEP program is for 3 years exit and exit options at different levels. And the first 2 years would be the common courses and internships is must and the project work is must. We redesign the courses. We redesign the courses for the to fit into the NEP program. Because before we used to have a 2 years MSc program. Now we have a NEP 4 years honors program. So they have an option to exit after 3 years. Actually, NEP suggests you should have an option to exit even first year. The diploma or something, certificate. So, but we are not exercising that option because we thought in a biology at least you should have 3 years of experience to get. That's what I'm saying. We are not implementing the in toto, but we are implementing partially. So we do not have any exit options for the first year and second year, but first and second year have a lot more. Whatever we are discussing is open up for the lot of internship as well as courses outside of the domain. Okay, they learn all the courses, including mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and computer science, and arts courses also. These are all included in the first 2 years. But first year, maybe the biology students interested in go for biology and say. So the first year component is maybe 12 to 15%. First semester. Second semester, that component goes up by 25%. In third semester, that component further increases. In the fourth semester, again it increases, so that eventually they will be ready to take up the biology streams, like any of one of the streams, like including biotechnology, systems biology, or any one of the streams they can go. Even after joining the third year, first semester, they have some interdisciplinary courses. And this includes some of the courses like the entrepreneurship program and writing, communications and writing skills is the one program. And they should do compulsory one internship and probably in industry or any collaborative institute outside of the domain, so that they get a hands-on experience to gain the knowledge in the particular field. So the same thing is trying to break up the traditional teaching domain and trying to integrate with the all other sciences to basically if you want a student-oriented program and students might have a holistic nature of the total for whatever they are studying. So this is highly flexible. So with flexible academic credits, what do you mean flexible means? So they can gain the credits not only for the traditional courses, but they can gain the credits that will be added to this curriculum. For example, if he does the project work, so that credits maybe we are offering 8 to 9 credits to the program. So he doesn't have to do some of the courses, so that he can add the required credits from the project work. Similarly, if you opt for doing some other work, not only for the interdisciplinary, like if you plan to do some other program in some other department, that also credits would be added to this program. So it's really a flexible choice-based credit system. So you have the mandate is you may have to complete some of the core courses that's required to get a degree in particular program. But in addition to that, he has a lot of choice to choose from the pool. So if the pool is offering like maybe 20 minors, he should be able to select some of the minors that is interested in doing the minor courses. That may not be from the same stream. So core courses are compulsory, but minor courses are of his choice. So you can do any other department that minor course. So the faculty should be able to offer each faculty should be able to offer not each faculty, 2-3 faculty can offer one minor or one major course. So that students have a choice to choose the particular minor or core course. Core course is compulsory, but minor courses may not be the compulsory. So this research opportunities will also increase. So the hands-on experience when they do internship, either in the industry or in any academic institute. So this is very, very important to get an hands-on experience. So most of our students, the experience is lacking is the skills. The skills are lacking for most of our students. Even students completed in our university also, they lack the skills to what we call as industry ready skills. So none of them knowing what is the GLPs, what is the GLP means, how the industry can operate, how to maintain the records. Nobody knows. So getting a job in industry is very, very difficult unless you are industry ready. So that skills can be achieved by adopting a NEP program. So there is a special courses, how to communicate, how to write reports, how to good laboratory practices, how to maintain the good laboratory practices. This makes them to ready for the industry job. So I'm going to give some examples in biology. What is the integrated? Why it's important? So we are been talking about climate change. Okay. So as biology students, climate change means we know that climate change, if we 1 degree rise in the global temperature, there is a 3 to 7% loss of the crop yield. And as a biology students, what happens? Rising the temperature causing the deforestation. Some habitat may be lost, or pollution. Pollution causing the damage to the systems. Pollution may be causing some kind of what kind of damage is caused that we can study as a biology student. But if you integrate as a minor, for example, chemistry sciences, chemical sciences, then you can talk about the what are the components that are involved in the pollution. What are the gases that are responsible for the pollution? So chemical sciences can integrate into the biology to tell about the what are the components that are causing this global temperature rise. So if you look at then geography segregation, where are the hot spots? Hot spots you can analyze it. Where are the hot spots of this climate change happening, and then you can come up with climate modeling. What kind of modeling you can analyze it, and distribution also you can do it. And mathematics you can do the statistical significance of this bio hotspots and what is the significance and how frequency they can happen. That also you can calculate. Diversity, yes. Biology temperature loss also lost the biodiversity. And social sciences and psychology and human sciences, they can that gives an opportunity to make the policies effects, and you can do a lot of policies. You can do it about the society, changing the policy. What is the frequency of this happening, and then what can we do to prevent the loss of the biodiversity or habitat loss or anything you can do it by using this kind of technique. So this is the kind of integrated learning. So if the student has been exposed to this kind of courses, then he will have a concept understanding of the global warming, not only about the changes in the system due to rise in the temperature. If loss in the photosynthetic capacity is being lost, biomass production will be lost. Besides that, other events that are associated with the global warming. So this is the idea of getting a holistic knowledge of a particular subject. I'm talking about another, for example, I talk about the, if we take a disease model, okay, for example, I talk about the tuberculosis. TB, the biology, you study TB is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and it's causing the immune response. As a biochemistry student, the biology talks about only the TB that is causing, and it can cause the infection, and it's stays long time, and it's causing the immune response in the cells, and this is dangerous disease, and a lot of people are dying with the TB. You can discuss about the TB, but by biochemistry, as a biochemistry student, you can talk about the pathways. What are the biochemical pathways that TB when it's infected with the cells? So what is the host pathogen interactions? Okay, those things one can study about the TB. But if you take biotechnology, you can talk about the how to detect the TB. Okay, so you can come up with the technology like PCR. So you can detect the TB by using the PCR polymerase chain reaction to detect the TB. And also you can come up with the development of vaccines. So how to develop a vaccine? So technology, biotechnology gives an idea about the detection tools to develop, identify some disease or anything, or to develop a vaccine or monoclonal antibodies towards particular disease.
You can also add genetics on that. Genetics also can be added.
You can add anything. I'm just saying you can add genetics also. What is the how genetics? Bacterial genetics or human genetics interferes in the propagation of the disease.
Yes, scientific management as a part of nutrition.
Yeah. Yeah, you can add anything. I'm just highlighting some of them. So environmental sciences, people think that how does it connected? Even environmental sciences impact the disease control. For example, if you are poorly ventilated area, okay, that is causing the spreading of the disease. So the environmental factors plays a major role in the spreading of some of the disease. So environmental science is also very important to analyze the disease progression and disease occurrence. And the same thing if you talk about the psychology and sociology. So what is the stigma if a TB patient is present in a society? What are the things? And some of the they think that it is becoming a they think that they may be isolated and quarantined, and they are afraid to tell to the people. So we have to educate them. It's not a disease that's not curable. It is curable. So social sciences and they play a very important role in awareness program and others. And statistics, the prevalence of the disease and where are the hotspots in the society. So this is the NEP envision. So NEP what is envisioning is by doing a holistic education system, only can learn not only the disease occurrence, how does it happen, and what is the reasons for propagation, as we mentioned the genetics also plays an important role, and nutrition and environmental and other factors that play an important role in the disease progression. For example, botany. I'm just taking botany as a major subject. I'm talking about before as a zoology or animal sciences. So a lot of medicinal plants are there. Okay. So what we know is medicinal plants. Okay, they are medicinally very important since ancient times, and They study how the medicine plants derive the metabolites and what are those metabolites that are important. Biochemistry, and you understand what is this plant species and what is the phylum it belongs to, and so on, and where it's actually involved in the metabolic process. Unless you know biochemistry, what are the second metabolites and what is the process that are involved to develop this particular metabolite. Okay? And biotechnology is involved. You want to do by using genetic engineering, and whether you can enhance the production of the particular metabolite. Either using a genetic engineering in bacteria or yeast or any organisms, whether you can enhance the production of this or you can modify the plants by agrobacterium transgenic plants. So transgenic plants are also being used to production of the antibodies. Okay? So unless you know biotechnology tools, you cannot use this production of the either antibodies or metabolites and other. So as a biology student, one should have a knowledge in this area. So what the NEP is suggesting is, even though your stream is biology or botany or zoology or major, you should have a minors in the different kind of streams. Like in the biotechnology, the production of the some of the minors, the product generation of the vaccines. Okay, vaccine technology, you can study how to produce the vaccine, how to produce the monoclonal antibodies. There is a lot of demand for the monoclonal antibodies. Okay? Monoclonal antibodies are being used widely for the therapeutic purpose, and they are very, very expensive. Some of the monoclonal antibodies cost more than 20 to 50,000 rupees. Okay? If you learn the techniques by doing an internship in the generation of the monoclonal antibodies and how to generate the monoclonal antibodies, that can lead you an industrial job, or you can start your own entrepreneurship. So a student having an idea of the different subjects, not only with the core subject, whatever is studying, by having different areas in the same stream, they gain knowledge in the different areas and useful to develop the individual a contributing to the society. That is the idea of NEP. So some of the examples. So you can merging with the biology with the bioinformatics and computational biology. So nowadays bioinformatics plays a very, very important role, because nowadays the human genome sequence, before they used to take 5 to 6 days. Now you can do whole human genome in few hours. Okay. So but you are getting so much data. Okay. Thousands of human genomes are being sequenced. Thousands and thousands of human genomes. How do you analyze this data? What is the variation between these sequences? Unless you have a computational chemistry, that's nothing come again computer science. So you have a mathematical skills to analyze the data that is being generated from the various sequencing data. So you can work with the biology with technology, and this data can be analyzed, and you can analyze the SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphism, between the DNA sequences of the whole population, and you can further dissect based on that, because in the CCMB, the scientists in a particular community, okay, they identified by doing human sequencing, they are very prone for cardiac diseases, heart attacks. Okay, nobody knows what is the reason. So what they did was, they took out in the family and they sequenced the human genome. Okay, whole exam they sequenced it and they put together and they compared with the control population, which not the sequence, the frequency of the disease is not that much. What they have found is, in one of the protein, there is a single nucleotide polymorphism. One amino acid is being changed to another amino acid, and they found that that is actually causing the frequency and increasing the heart attack. So unless the biology scientists collaborate with the computational biologists, you don't know the frequency of the mutation. So it indicates the importance of the biology and merging with the computational biology. So the student who is interested in biology he can merge, he can learn if he is interested in computational biology. This additional tool help him in analyze the large data that is being generated. Chemistry to biology. So the chemistry, you can think of the minor chemistry, you can also take it. This is very, very important enzyme chemistry, green chemistry now people are talking about. Okay. So industrial chemistry uses high pressure and lot of cofactors like metals. And they also, after at the end of the enzymatic cycle, you release a lot of pollutants. Okay, now everybody is moving towards the green chemistry. How to produce a particular intermediate that is important from the drug industry by using a green chemistry. So, unless you are familiar with the chemistry, how the reaction happens, how the substrate and how the substrate and enzyme interacts, then only you can develop a green chemistry to enhance the production yield. So I was in this context I wanted to say, so Ratul India Industry Limited contacted us to develop one of the enzymes for the industrial purpose. Mostly we are depending on the China. Okay, most of our industrial intermediates. India is making lot of pharmaceutical. India is and Hyderabad is one of the hubs. We make pharmaceutical industry, but the raw material most of them comes from China. Okay, we don't have any raw material required for our industry. Okay, if China stops, our pharmaceutical industry collapses. Okay, so the idea is now the government is enhancing or giving a lot of funds to develop pharmaceutically important intermediates through green chemistry. So we took up a challenge and we implemented the project by sponsored by the Atul India Private Limited, and we successfully developed one enzyme that is useful in the ampicillin use. Ampicillin widely used. So the intermediate that is the ampicillin beta amino acid, we produce it and we take it. So unless we have a chemistry and biology knowledge, so you should have a biology knowledge to understand the enzyme. What is the enzyme specificity? What is the enzyme Km, Kcat, and what is the catalytic efficiency? And unless you know these aspects, you cannot do the green chemistry. And you should have a knowledge in the chemical sciences to increase the catalytic efficiency of the enzyme. Hydrogenase. Hydrogenase is a the oxidoreductase transaminases. The reductases. It doesn't have a supercomputer, but highly efficient computers are there. In our sense, supercomputer means you can do. I don't know this the data that we generated by human sequencing samples to process it. It may take a long time, but whatever the computers we have. But at least we have high-speed computers. That much I know. But I don't know whether it's called a supercomputer or not. But people do a lot of modeling and simulation studies and computational studies. So we have a computational and system biology department, and they use this high-end computer. But I'm not sure the speed and what you are looking for. So you can stop me at any time point and ask if you have any questions. Huh? Actually, social science should be more interested. Yeah, terminology may be new, but the concepts may not be new. See, social science is actually required for all these fields. Without social sciences, there is no holistic development of any course. I feel. Social sciences actually gives the idea of the so many societal problems, social problems. Okay. So the idea of these social problems, they have to identify and bring it up to the forefront. Then only other streams can take up and then do research or work and do progress on particular problem. So, social sciences is very, very important. So it is one of the time. See now students are not opting for the social sciences because of lack of job opportunities. Majorly. But still in JNU and the other universities, social sciences is one of the best subjects. The biomedical sciences, unless so you are teaching biology plus medicine, medicinal subjects. So you are see unless you merge with industry or it's kind of a what I would call it as a paramedical course. Yeah, it's becoming a paramedical course like optometry or nursing, something like that. So biomedical courses. Unless you want to transform the biomedical courses, you should integrate some of the technology courses. Engineering part. Biomedical engineering is much more attractive than biomedical. Biomedical engineering, you are trying to develop some kind of apps. So you create knowledge to develop some kind of measuring tools or any kind of like the blood pressure or glucose monitoring or something like that.
But a part of the engineering,
Okay.
designing, development, and all.
Okay, that's good. Actually, if you include those things, I think.
Targets.
Yeah, duration of internship varies. Okay, they have to first 2 years they have to compulsory one internship, but 1.5 months, 2 months, maximum 2 months. It's a very good question. No, see. See, this is in the first 2 years program. See, something is better than nothing. See, the person who doesn't know how to take a pH or solution. Okay. Okay, if he learns how to take the pH, okay, and how to hold a pipette. Lot of people don't know how to make a buffer. What is the dilution factor? Lot of people doesn't know. If you take 100 millimolar and you want to dilute to 10 millimolar solution, volumes they confuse. So at least you are giving a training. It's an initial training. At least you are motivating them. Okay, this is pH. What does mean buffer means what? And they are learning these kind of skills. So when they go for second internship, okay, so these are the students coming from no knowledge, because nowadays our education system completely collapsed because of Narayana Chaitanya. I don't know what to say. Huh? Corona, another one. So because of even we are opting our children to go to the institute, they never touch anything. They directly go for exams. No practical knowledge and also no holistic knowledge. They are all exam oriented and memorizing. See, the NEP suggests that conceptualization of the education. Concepts. You have to understand the concepts. Why you have to understand the concept is, if you explain the concept, you will remember forever. Okay, if you memorize it, it may stay for few days and it will gone. Okay. Okay. Okay, very good. Are these BSc students or MSc? Yeah, MSc first. I am talking about the undergrads. Undergrads first year, they have to do one internship. When they enter into the internship, they are lack of knowledge. So why I was telling it's concepts to understand very well means. So for example, if you take about social sciences people, maybe I put it in their language. The food, whatever we are taking in the physics, what we talk about is one form of the energy is being converted into another form. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. All social science people know. Yeah, thermodynamics we study. But if you want to bring up the concepts in the human physiology, see whatever the energy created by that energy is taken by the plants by the form of sunlight, and they synthesize the food in the form of glucose, and that's the simplest form glucose. Okay, that glucose in the human body it converts into again to energy. Okay, so the energy is being converted and that is being used for the various purposes. That's a different story. So you can bring up the physics here. Okay, how do you bring up the physics here? The electrons always flow from less affinity to high affinity. Okay, so electrons always flow spontaneously from low redox potential to high redox potential, and it can connect it to the electron motive force directly, and that is leading to the free energy change. And you use that electron motive force directly connected to the energy release. That energy is being coupled to the doing some work by using energy transducers, we can call it. The same things happen in the biological system. Glucose is contained, whatever the glucose contains high energy, and it spontaneously drives the electrons, and oxygen is the terminal electron acceptor. Oxygen is high affinity. So electrons spontaneously flow from glucose to oxygen, and this is also drives the electron motive force, and that force leading to the energy. That energy is being energy transducers are there in the system, and that causing the generation of the ATP, and we use it for the various cellular purposes. So the idea is you can, unless you connect this biology with chemistry and physics systems, and I also say to the students, the system that what we have is exactly like a battery that is present in the car. Okay, you have a positive and negative electrons always go negative to positive. That causes the trigger the turning on the engine because you put the energy transducer in the middle. Same things happens in the biological system for the generation of the energy. Okay, only system is that is happening in the mitochondria. So unless you generate the conceptualization of the education, that will be remembered longer time, and they can come up with the new ideas. Okay, why we can't generate more energy? Okay, we all eat same amount of the lunch, probably we all eat same amount of food, but some of them are sleepy, some of them are active, some of them are not paying attention at all. That's true in any sense. Because, general variation you can see, not genetic variation. That is depending on our metabolism. That is depending on our metabolism. Okay. How you connect to the metabolism is, see, whenever you eat a lot of fatty food or high food, our all circulation system, blood goes towards the stomach, and your brain is little supply of the blood. Okay, and that is also secretes some hormones, cholecystokinin, that is involved for fat digestion as well as induces the sleep. Okay, and also you eat a lot of carbohydrate food, you have a spike of the insulin. and then it obviously goes up, and that also causes the sleepiness. But that varies from people to people. Why? Because some people have a high capacity for digestion. That is all. Again, I am talking about the powerhouse of the cell, mitochondria. Why? Because even if you the studies takes place, if you take two animals, give the same amount of food every day, one of them could obese, another one not. Okay. Some of them said, "I'm not eating anything. Why I'm putting on weight?" There are so many factors.
Yeah.
So many factors, environmental factors also plays a role. And what we found is, it's not environmental factors and other things, how our mitochondria, our metabolism. Okay. If you take this people from Africa, they are very good in marathons. They run 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers in the Olympics and they win the race, but they are very thin. Okay. So what happened is, in some people, they are very highly coupled respiration. That's called what we call as coupled respiration. That is, whatever the energy you are taking in, that is you are converting it into another form of ATP, and that is being used to synthesize the fats and other macromolecules. In some people, the efficiency is not. It's like buying a new car and car after running a few years. In some people, you don't want to have a new car because if you have a new car, your engine is very, very efficient. Okay, our system should be not efficient. Okay, it should be leaking. Then only you don't put on weight. I'm just putting in the perspective. So our system should not be efficient. If you have efficiency system in the mitochondria, you produce a lot of energy. That is all being extra energy. That all being is converted to fat. But our system is not efficient. You produce less energy, even though you eat the same amount of food, but it was less efficient. That all is converted. See, you are eating something, unless if you don't convert it into the energy, you are not putting on weight. So you have to convert that energy to less useful energy. So that is all in the human physiology. Okay, that is all in the mitochondria because even though we are all came from the same, but our DNA, mitochondrial DNA is variant. So this is not the same. Our coupling capacity is different. You are thinking about the birds. Some of the birds fly thousands of miles. From Russia to even Telangana they come. So this is all because of the coupling capacity is very high. Okay, they don't waste any energy. So because of the high coupling capacity, they can hold the respiration for long distance. So that is what I'm trying to say is if you connect to the biology to the different streams, so you can so you can connect the biology much more efficiently. Not only biology, other streams. You can efficiently integrate, and you can get a holistic knowledge in a particular area. That is the bottom line. And mathematics in biology, as I already mentioned it, mathematics models and statistics models, even large genomic data. Okay, that is important to show the statistical significance. You need statistical significance. You identify some polymorphism. Okay, if you take a genome sequence, there are so many polymorphisms will be there. Okay, if you sequence all this your genome, it's not that difficult. Because nowadays it may cost 30 to 40,000 rupees to sequence one human genome. Exons at least. So you get a lot of polymorphisms in each. Our DNA sequence 99.99% similar. That 0.001% is different. Identifying the 0.01%, what is the statistical significance in this a particular polymorphism? particular variation in the genome. That you need a mathematical science. Unless you derive equations, unless you come up with a program, you cannot identify those kind of particular systems. That's why merging with the biology with the mathematical science is also significant. And physics, as I mentioned, physics and biology. So the protein folding, as I mentioned it, how the protein folds and what are the principles behind in the atomic absorption chromatography, spectroscopy, and this.
As simple as plant, the symmetry.
Physical principles are very important to understand the binding affinity between the two molecules or protein to ligand. Even in the chemistry, physics, and biology put together, you can generate a very good green chemistry, like very good enzymes that is involved in the biological process. So environmental science already we discussed about the environmental science also you can measure what is the impact of this one on environmental sciences. Now people are talking about, even government is coming up with One Health policy. Not only human health, all living organism health is very important for sustainable growth and development. Okay? That is, unless you study some kind of environmental sciences, you cannot derive this kind of sustainable development growth. So social sciences, because nowadays we are talking about genetic engineering. Okay, lot of diseases. Now, genetic therapy, gene therapy, people are talking about. Okay, now. So gene therapy, social sciences now comes into play. So now people are talking about gene therapies. Okay, there are some in the USA the gene therapy is successful in some diseases, cardiovascular diseases. There are genetic mutations that causes a lot of diseases. Unless you do gene therapy by introducing a virus in a patient containing that particular gene, then you can complement or you can cure that particular disease. So the gene editing technology is also coming, like CRISPR, Cas9, or stem cell research. People are talking about the stem cell research. You can give the stem cells and embryonic stem cells. By giving embryonic stem cells, a lot of people think embryo is a life form. So ethically, whether it's correct or not, you are taking embryonic stem cells and giving for somebody else's treatment. You are killing someone and trying to rescue some other life. So these are ethical issues coming up. That social science plays a very important role to determine the gene therapeutic value and stem cells usage, and all stem cell therapies, whatever coming up is not true. Okay, there are very few cases successful stem cells. There are a lot of repercussions with the stem cell therapy also. So unless you study some of these social and ethical practices, you cannot understand the particular disease. Artificial intelligence in biological sciences is also to come up the models. So artificial intelligence is important to analyze the large amount of the data that is coming up nowadays. And if you do, I'm talking about only genomics. There's a lot of data coming from the metabolic process. So we have taken same amount of food, but the metabolism, how does it happen in the different things? Okay. What is happening in the downstream units? What is the production? How is it entering into the cell? So these are the metabolic profiles. You get a huge amount of data, and to analyze the data and to come to a conclusion, some biomarkers, you need a artificial intelligence.
For agricultural industry or an artificial.
Yes, any industry. Yes. Yeah, that's a time machine. Okay, next. The last one I just this is really coming up. People are thinking that the gut microbiome determines whether you get a disease or not. So in the gut, there are millions and millions of bacteria. Okay? That gut microbiome, people are sequencing it, they get huge amount of the genomic data. And that you need human system biology to understand the microbiome that is exists in the gut. And this gut microbiome interaction with your epithelial cells in the intestine are also plays a very important role. So some people they see, at least in the mouse model, they shown is the gut microbiome causing the influence in the induction of the cancer. So if the gut microbiome is different, and they see the reduction in the cancer progression. So the gut microbiome doesn't come from the nowhere. That is coming from the food, whatever we are taking and eating, and it exists for the over the yes during the evolution also we adapt now the gut microbiome. This is the one of the concept biological sciences. Now interdisciplinary research means we have to explore new areas that there will be a lot of understanding the disease progression in the new perspective. How we can understand the disease. Okay, stop it here. And there are one challenges I just want to mention. Last one more. Next. So, how to come up with this? I just want to mention. So you should have you have your own departments, okay, and you should also make clusters independent of your departments, okay, like 3-4 faculty, biotechnology one, biochemistry one, and some another biochemistry or soil science also fine. And if you come up with a thematic research clusters, then you can offer some minor course in particular area. And interdisciplinary working groups. So these groups can be interact with another group, there are another interdisciplinary group, and come up with a new way of teaching and learning as well as interdisciplinary research. That's what I want to mention it. The last slide, joint seminars, I think Sar Marsh mentioned it. Next. Next. So this is another point. This also we are facing from standardization issues, ensuring the uniformity in the recognition of the credits that are obtained in the different systems. See, this NEP suggests that the lateral entry also will be there. If somebody student has done coursework in some other institute, he should be able to enter into your institute. So there is a uniformity credit system across the all schools that are implementing the NEP. These are some of the complexes. I don't want to go. Yeah.
So bioethics and human rights, how they there are some conventions. But now under new education policy, I think research will continue. Not those who are raising their voice also. They know the consequences. That area research is not encouraged. Like how they encourage the other. Nowadays they are talking about herbal medicines.
Yes.
Like by and large, those who are interested, they have some opinions in this. If there is an opportunity, like then you can learn about some technology which you have.
Very
Agro-based industry.
yes, yes. That's what see the DST and the DBT they are initiating the project Ayurveda medicine. Okay, their projects are available under the DST and DBT scheme. So if they are see the major problem is the proof of concept. Principle whether that whatever the compound you are talking about does it have the medicinal value. Okay? If it is a medicinal value, that's why they are encouraging the DST also encouraging to collaborate with the institute. They have an infrastructure. Okay, and you can collaborate with the institutes. Okay, you can write letters directly to the personal professor who is working in the particular area. So you need a extraction method for either using the techniques, various techniques to identify the principal component of the herbal medicine. Okay, what is the principal component of the herbal medicine that is causing the effect? So So you can collaborate with the institutes like University of Hyderabad or IIT, IICT, and CCMP. You can write the process and the herbal medicine. That is important. That is you. And there people are coming from the different state universities and they are doing. Recently, uh, recently our university got a funding for 100 crores. This is the same concept. So we are the spoke institutes and we chose 7 institutes as a pair institute to enhance the research capability in the pair institute, including Sri Venkateswara University and Yogi Vemana University and some Karnataka University. They are participated in the focus. They get actually the parents should get large amount of the money. We get less amount of the money. That money is being used so that the faculty from there they can come to the post institute and they can learn the techniques, how to do it, and how to extract the physical component, how to test it in animal model, and other. The social science is very, as I mentioned, it's social. As you said, the research is continued, but nowadays government is suggesting you should have a social scientist in any policy matter. Okay, they are insisting because a lot of ethical issues will be there, and what is the social impact of the particular drug, whatever it is. So, what is the perspective in the society? And social science will bring up a lot of these issues to the board. It is coming up, but as you said, a lot of people are ignoring, but they are not ignoring. It's coming up.
Any more queries? Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights and knowledge on transforming higher education for holistic development, fostering future scientific interdisciplinary innovations, and on climate change and its impact on biodiversity via integrated learning. Thank you so much. May I now invite our accuracy coordinator, Dr. V. Shekilana, and Dr. Francina to felicitate, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
May I now invite Dr. Vishal to take over for session 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nishat Fatima, Head Department of Arabic and Dean Students Affairs. Take the privilege of anchoring today's session. It is now time to begin session 4 of the one-day national workshop on multidisciplinary education hosted by IPAC St.Ann College for Women. I would like to take this opportunity to invite our IPAC coordinator, Dr. Shikalama, and additional coordinator, Dr. Francina, to kindly come forward and join us on the dais. With immense respect, I now invite our distinguished speaker, Professor C. Ravindra Rao, sir, distinguished academician and researcher in the field of statistics, computer science, and artificial intelligence, to please come forward and take your seat on the dais. Thank you, sir. Now I request our IPC coordinator, Dr. Shikalama, and additional coordinator, Dr. Francina, to welcome sir with greetings. Sir, it is truly an honor and privilege to have you with us. May I request the audience to welcome him with a warm round of applause. Professor Rao is a distinguished academician and researcher in the field of statistics, computer science, and artificial intelligence. Professor Rao holds a PhD in statistics and an MTech in computer science and engineering from Osmania University. He began his teaching career in 1984 and served most of his academic tenure at the University of Hyderabad, where he superannuated as a senior professor in the School of Computer and Information Sciences in 2023. Currently, he continues to contribute to academia and research as the Honorary Director R&D at BBIT and Adjunct Professor at IIT TDKM, Kanchipuram. Professor Rao has guided 15 PhD scholars, over 60 MTech students, and has published extensively with more than 200 research papers and 2 international patents to his credit. He is also the recipient of prestigious honor including the Acharya Ratna and Bhisma Acharya Awards, recognizing his lifetime contribution to education and research. Sir, we are truly honored to have you with us today for this insightful session, and we look forward to learning from your research experience and knowledge. Now, I request Sir to kindly begin this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity given to me to be here. It's supposed to be in the morning, so my plan was something different. And it was the plan for to address the situation as at the time of action. So my talk is in hyperlink, so so I can address the things going to be one to other. Next, please skip this next. My agenda was this, but I'm not going to do in this manner now. I wanted to just set the tone of the workshop, starting from the what was there in the net under the NEP, what are the key features, that's the one I thought, and then bring the what is understood by science, engineering, and technology. I mean, the science is including arts, commerce, and all these things are science according to me. And engineering is something where you are developing tools, and technology is the one which we are going to use the tools for making the life of the common man or the environment, whatever the system in the technology. So that's the reason I don't want to speak about the arts and other things here. So that also I am not going to do. And multidisciplinary problem. I have several things to set the tone on multidisciplinary problems. Even I will not be going to that much. I will straight away go to something which may be more interesting to you. Hoping that you got, but let us take the, is this workshop is a multidisciplinary problem? Okay. There are, I think, 3 speakers or 4 speakers, I don't know now. 3 speakers. So 3 speakers are coming from different departments, different domains, and you are different. And auditorium, booking the auditorium, making this, electricity, lighting, many things are there, and arranging the transport to bring us here. So many disciplines are involved in this workshop. Okay, so just I'm touching that, and I'm not going. So like that, there are several things in the slides there. And why these multidisciplinary things came? and to the minds. And why? What is the name? Is the because of the sophistication. We wanted to make things more sophisticated. I see more ladies here. Uh, Suppose a mother with a 3 months baby gone to the play area. What will be the attitude of the activity of the mother? If you look at that, mother will be always looking the baby and safety, security, and other things. Though they keep in the tram, that is what the yes, something. So if they came in that, suppose if you make that as sophisticated, what is the weight in that? The baby's weight is there, so it will be known if that weight is carried by the cameras. And suppose started trying, if it is signal is sent to the some vibrations and other things. Many aspects can be integrated to that. By that way, the mother also can enjoy the environment of the baby along with it. So just that is it. So there are several things getting sophisticated, and today one of the examples is our cell phone. It is replaced many gadgets in our life. Okay, I hope how many of you are wearing watch now. Okay, so many things are getting replaced or vanishing from the life because of the sophistication, or something is coming new, and we are inviting more problems. Many. So then, what are the real world problems? This is one which is interesting. I don't know whether I will be in a position to touch upon this. Depends on the time I go back. These are all not bookish. All these things are prepared with my exposure and need, which I need to convey to the people. So I see whether I can go to that. One of the real world problem is now I just saw when I'm coming inside, there is a few tables around 10 people, faculty were sitting, and 30, 40 parents and people are sitting there. Admission service. Is it not a real world problem? Why the parents and people came here to get admitted? What type of analysis they did? So to come to this, to take that decision, what type of problem they considered and arrived at the conclusion to come here and interact and maybe sort the admission, may not. Is it not a real world problem? And look at what are the multidisciplinary problem this is. Now, what is the quality of the education going to get to that child, that student? Proximity, safety, okay, placement, expenditure. So many disciplines are involved in that real world problem. So there are several things are there. So like that, I have some bits of this. Then just inform this multidisciplinary approaches. And cutting short. This is from the web. 2 slides only. Next. So multidisciplinary approaches. It is what for we are doing. It is a integration, combining various disciplines, perceptions, and contributions to make a holistic and integrated, meaningful solution, and better than what we were getting earlier. Okay, so here is I'll tell you, like my friend said, some suggestions to you what you can do. At the end, I'm going to give in return to this. And it is a collaborative because we are different disciplines are there. It has to be in a collaborative manner, and then there is a need for critical thinking and clarity. So when we come to the multidisciplinary, you should be critic. You are a statistician, when I'm in the team, I should ask about something which is the other element. As a critic, I need to ask. I need to contribute for the arriving at the solutions for these things by criticizing and appreciating the approaches. So that is required. That is possible by having the critical thinking, and I should have the aptitude and mode of learning. See, as a statistician, I know statistics, what statistics can do. But when I am applying the statistics for the genome environment, I should be able to appreciate, I should be able to learn what is the meaning of that, how it is, and how my suggestion of statistics application there is going to be meaningful to them. So that's the reason I must be having a holistic. And all these things, over and above all these aspects, there is an ego. Why should I talk to you? Okay? So ego, personality clashes, superiority, inferiority problems, psychological problems, and one of the faculty asked ethical problems. There is animals and other things there. So there are several problems that are coming here. So if I say something, it is not your domain, you don't know it. In fact, it happened. I did my M.Tech computer science because of one committee. Then I questioned a configuration of hardware. They said you don't know anything about computer science. Then I did my M.Tech. Just for making them to stop. I know what is because I was the first teacher for M.Tech in the Usman University. Okay. Then you have see, there are the problems are I am thinking as a statistician and I use probability distributions for events, random events. My approach is different. But when I come to the multidisciplinary thing, your approach and your skills need to be in hybridized such a way that it will not be conflicting. No doubt, when you are coming many disciplines, there will be a lot of conflicting things. Actually, AI supposed to be more strengthened is to develop the techniques of conflict resolution. That is the one which is more important thing. For that purpose only, NEP came into the picture, and risks are involved in it, and Nash equilibrium is discovered, and that is exploited for resolving these conflicting scenarios. Which Nash equilibrium is economics result on Nobel Prize. Okay, which is working in game theory, which is useful for conflict resolution today. So this is the next one is so there are several multidisciplinary approach. What is that? I'll just once again come back. Next slide. Interdisciplinary approach. There is a difference between interdisciplinary approaches. What you are going to do is, as a statistician, I am addressing the problem as a statistician. As a biologist, you are addressing the problem as a social scientist, you are addressing. We are looking at the approaches and try to see whether how far we are able to address the real world problem. And we tune ourselves. So it is a collaborative. Whereas, coming to the interdisciplinary thing, I contribute my knowledge, statistics knowledge, the biologist or social scientist, whatever they contribute, we collectively together comes as arrive at a process to solve the problem. Okay, so it is this gives emerges a new area also. New subjects can emerge out. Okay, see, this is basically interdisciplinary things. This is it is time taking. Definitely, it will take time taking. And if you want to adopt this type of things in the NEP, it should be proven at our place first, at our lab, and afterwards only it should be taken. Multidisciplinary is not that challenging to implement at NEP level, but interdisciplinary is not that simple. Next, I think. That's all. Please, next. Oh, next. Oh, you go to then that's the alphabet. It should go back to line.
No, that means main.
Now, okay. So, if time permits and other things, I'll go back. And just this, let me go to the. Yes, I got the inputs from the organizers. Next one. Yeah, I got the inputs. These are these departments going on, and these departments are classified into the verticals, the languages, social science. It is not my classification, and it's physical sciences, life sciences, and commerce management, physical education, library. Now, let us ask the question: why chemistry is in life sciences? What is the reason? Why it is not in the physical sciences? These are just now to keep the thing. So if I look at the chemistry, is a molecule and structures in that manner, it is physical sciences. Now, if I look at the life, what is the definition of the life and how it is, there's things, cell, everything is also once again described with the chemical things. There is a protein and all these things are defined by the. Okay. So, in that sense, chemistry is also can fall into this. So, this is the ambiguity which we call as a unanimity ambiguity. We land upon uncertainties, varieties of uncertainties. One ambiguity, belonging to ambiguity, made you to resolve and put it into the life sciences. If somebody is adding some argument and other things to resolve the belonging, they may put it to the physical sciences. Another ambiguity is occurrence, which is addressed by the statistics department. There is a statistics department. So statistics department does a lot of things to address answer occurrence uncertainty. The another uncertainty is approximation uncertainty. So most of the mathematical people do that linear approximation and other things. That is approximation uncertainty. E to the power of x is approximated as 1 plus x. So to simplify the computations, which in engineering domain called as a low fidelity methods. So you wanted to get the results very fast. So instead of using complicated process, you try to. So suppose if I give you a bundle of papers and I'll show you bundle of papers and ask how many papers, how many sheets are there in this. So you need to give. That is one. If you look at the statistics point of view, you can say it is estimate. If you say mathematics point of view, approximate. So you are using the adjective approximately 100 and is I estimate as 100. These are the two phrases you are going to use. If estimate term is coming from statistics, approximation term is coming from mathematics. Clear? So ambiguities are there. So how we are doing? Why I am telling this? Now we are going to get into the next slide onwards. How you are going to have multidisciplinary approaches. How we are going to. Okay. This is the departments. Now this is the one. I am going to spend time and I am ready to interact with you people from this point onwards. Next slide. So language. Okay. What is the language? I don't want to go outside India now. Look at the languages. If you look at the map of the languages, how many interdisciplinary problems you can address within your college? So what is the borders? This is some Tamil region. This is a Telugu region, something like this. Now, how Tamil is getting transformed to Telugu when person is going from this area to this area? Language dynamics, accent, and vocabulary. Many things are there. So yes, Okay, so there are several problems are there in the language itself, and you can bring a multidisciplinarily 2 credit, 3 credit courses in this one. Okay, now I put another question. You look at Galiji, something is there here. What is this? Why it is spread in a disconnected locations? What might have gone to make the people to scatter in India at a different locations instead of having something like a Telugu and one consecutive? So, what made the people to have in a different disconnected regions? So, is it not a course we can design? By looking at this, what basic factors for the population dynamics, mobilities, causes. Yes, but you look at it is sustained, that language is sustained. How that is sustained in that locality in protecting this language identity from the neighboring things. In genetics point of view, that is survival is the fittest. Fittest will survive. Isn't it? So, thank you. Thank you. So, is it possible to, so coming to the mathematics, can we develop score functions for these things? Is it possible to find it out in language point of view, varieties of basic factors and come up with a score with a collaboration with mathematics, the score for that? Clear? So this many are there. And next, script. What is the Tamil script here? What is the Tamil script here? How the script is having certain morphological effects. Is there any dilation? Is there any erosion? Many other things are there. And same thing if you go, even in the Telugu, if you go to the certain altitudes of the air, you will have different effect. So what is the effect of the environment and climate on the language? What is the effect of their food habits on their language? So many things can be designed as interdisciplinary by looking at this. Next slide. Any questions? Next slide. Next slide. Is it? No, it's yes. Okay. Other challenges. I wanted to translate Telugu to Tamil. So is it possible for you to build a course how to translate? What are the fundamentals need to be followed for translation? How Google is doing today? What is the accuracy of that? So translation. Okay, next one. The sophisticated one is today is LLM. Is it possible to build LLMs for each Indian languages? It is a little bit above your college level standard, but as my friend said that you can collaborate with some institutions and think of having LLM for Telugu, LLM for Urdu, LLM for Gujarat. Okay. Next, how the LLMs have come? How LLMs are doing wonderful job is because of the fundamental component word to vec. So if you take word, there is a numerical vector. Now, if you take this lamp is an object, for this there is a vector. For this mic there is a vector. For this auditorium there is a vector. For a patient history there is a vector. So whatever the object you take, there is a vector today. So that is called as the vector databases. So whole thing is going to be translated into vectors. So once everything is becoming vector, what is the vector in biology?
Vector is a carrier.
Huh?
A vehicle is carrier.
Yes. So that from there only it came. The word vector came from that word. So This is putting this manner. Now you are writing a mathematical vector, mathematical definition vector, in that you are using, and using that you are going to play a lot. So one of the powerful one is what? Bidirectional encoder, some deep learning model. Let's not go into the details of that. What it is doing? How you feel about bottom and the top? You people, I am asking. Now I ask how Srikala feels about bottom. How other person feels it. So each and everyone has their own feeling about the object. And you are, when I ask what is the feeling of bottom and the top by this gathering, it's a collective. How to convert this object of feeling into vectors by individual and collectively. So that is the one challenge addressed by the bird, and they Chinese used a Chinese language in various various atomic representations, and they gave varieties of representations and consolidated it. That's the reason that model has been adopted as under transfer learning. I'm using the word transfer learning. Okay, that is the one issue. So you can now think what is the IQSC? Is this? Yeah. So you are taking the feedback of the students for about the teacher. 30 students have given. So you need to consolidate and come up with the class feedback. Is a consult. So each is an opinion. What is the consolidation process? How that should be? So the consolidation should be subjective. It should not be objective. What for you are doing it? Suppose if you go to the doctor and for some problem and other things, doctor should consolidate all the things to treat the disease, not generic. So that is went into the, but once again. So subjectivity, it is not objective. So whereas in statistics, we go for generalization into more objective. So how to use wisely the subjective nature and objective nature need to be, it should be integrated in our curriculum. We cannot tell this, teach these things separately. Right? And similarity. So whether the student is similar to this in giving the feedback, whether this class is similar to this, then they are giving the feedback for the same teacher. So for this type of things, there is a lot of work is needed. It is the problem falls into the domain of the mathematicians, but mathematicians cannot produce solutions or tools for this type of problems without having proper interaction with the respective domain. What is needed, what for, and how these things need to be, and how to punch through. Okay, so text visualization, you can take a lot of problems. The text, you take a one chapter of the or one book or novel. So can I visualize the novel? If I can visualize the novel in a more meaningful way, is it possible to make as a video movie? So text to visualization. Similarly, text to speech. There are already some things are there, but this type of things you can think of it. 1 credit, 2 credit courses for making to appreciate that. What is the text to visual, text to speech, and text to visualization? There was a raid. FIR was filed. FIR is a text. So can I convert this FIR into visuals? Can I convert this FIR such that the blind person will be in a position to understand that FIR? Text to speech. So there are several applications are there. If you try on this type of things with some skill, definitely the skill is needed. Without skill, you cannot appreciate the multidisciplinary things. Language and art. How many have seen Ravi Verma portraits? good number. I mean, how much out of this? How many are mathematicians? No one. No. Ravi Verma portraits and you are a mathematician. Yes, you saw Ravi Verma portraits. No, no, I wanted an intersection. The beauty of Ravi Verma portraits obeys golden ratio. What is the golden ratio? It is a root of x square plus x plus 1. One root of x square plus x plus 1. What is this golden ratio is it natural in biology. You take any flower, the number of petals in the flower will be one of the Fibonacci number. The sequence of the Fibonacci numbers, ratio of the sequence of Fibonacci numbers converts to golden ratio. Our nerves, when it splits at the golden ratio. So Ravi Verma portraits are so beautiful because it was his art was having that mathematical principle, maintaining the golden ratio. If you have a 40 by 60 plot, you need not worry about Vastu because it is a golden ratio. So if you look at the golden ratio properly and browse on this, you get a lot of data, a lot of website links to design as many courses as you want at any level, right from the LKG to PG, PhD. So, language to art. Okay. How many of us visited Mysore Art Gallery? The problem is that we don't have critical eye. We go as an art gallery and come back. But the art gallery walls are having lot of puzzles. The chessboard puzzles, the words, you need to form the words based collecting the horse move, some other moves, and then that will become a meaningful sentence. So art, the language and art is combined to develop ciphertext. K-share cryptography. Okay? Today we have a beautiful cryptography system, K-share cryptography. So there is a part, we can give a foundation courses in that one. Kabasha, substitution methods. Okay? If when I am speaking, it speaks about my personality also. You can capture my speech and give it to electronics people to process the signal processing, and you can see what are the fundamental frequencies are dominant in my speech and can be correlated to my personality. You take a plant and you take the radiation of the plant, color radiation, whatever the thing, and take that signal and do the frequency analysis, you will be able to tell about the hardiness of the plant. And many things can be spoken once you. So there is a language context. Now, in my language is tuned to meet this context. If I have to deliver this type of talk to students, is something. It is for administrator. It is going to be something. It is for some public audience. It will be something. So my language need to be tuned to the context. Presenting yourselves. So which there are some personality programs out there and other things. So there also you can look at it. Now in what environment you are speaking. Now beauty in Indian environment is you have a poems, prose, songs. That's all. Any more? Any more? Drama. Specific to Telugu? Correct. So can you convert it? Take a text. Can you convert to the Burakada? Cannot be a program. Is it not possible to make as a 2 credit course? Take any Telugu text or some other language and can you make it as a Boratara? Okay, what is this? What is this now challenge? Is the Telugu language and art in the same vertical. But when you are converting the thing, dressing is coming, yes, acting is coming, and environment. So society is coming. So that's the reason you need to have not only language within the language. You need to have bring different small units in that related to the other subjects, other disciplines. Clear? Next one. The social science subjects are this. Okay. I just brought some of the books and other things available, which can directly go into the credits. You can design some credits based on those books. Okay, and this is one of the things which is a very serious problem today. Pakistan-India issues. Okay, so you can think of the many courses in this. Next slide, please. Here, population dynamics. That is you say that Telugu, the language, you have similar pockets, no? So what is the population dynamics? And that what we have is heat map. So can you see what will be the language map of India after 200 years? Can you say something? All these slides are shared. You need not waste your time for making photographing or noting them. Already shared. So recommended systems based on and public administration, many things are there, and history, visualization of Indian history. How over the time how things are changing. What is the primary principle? What was the motive there? Like before something, after something. Look at that. So if you look at the whole time scale and how that is. Economics. Indian value systems over the centuries. We 1 rupee was for 1 rupee we were getting $37. If I'm not wrong. That was some good old days. It was like this. Today, for 80 rupees we are getting for $1. See, this is the change. So what is this? Why that value systems are going to be? See, what are the departments associated? Aspirations. How to control the aspirations of the people, and government policies give the loans, pay the loans. Okay, several things. So government policies and liberation and privatization. So these are different things are there. How to bring all these things? Then you wanted to project the economics. Behavioral sciences. You know behavioral sciences. Now, St.Ann's College is a system. Behavior of the St.Ann's College. Behavior of my security protocol against the cyber crimes. So we need to think about the behavioral sciences of systems behavior. We need to focus how to sell, how to make it. See, I wanted to give you my password for authentication. I type something, cancel some letters, and type something like that way. I correct password will go. My habit of this type nonsense in between and cancel those things. And another one is how I am typing, what pressure, what type of movement I am. Okay, so cannot make the patient to take the follow the instructions if psychologically they are with me. So there is a lot of and one is neglected is tribal practices. How tribal practices can be brought back for as a low cost entrepreneurship. How many of you know the serious problem with the tribal? Which is the serious problem in tribal community, tribal areas? High? That is general problem. Specific problem. Any more? I expected something serious. The pregnancy age is average is 30. The average pregnancy age is 30. 13. Imagine how they are addressing such a pregnant lady. How they are saving the mother and baby. What? Are they using cesarean? So there are a lot of things are there can be converted, can be brought into the system to see what is there, what knowledge is there, how to convert that knowledge for useful to the other side. Okay? Next slide. Science. According to me, science is. I don't want to do verticals now. I want to say visible. So you have many things are there, right from the ancient, many things, many courses you can introduce now. Don't confine to algebra, kinetics, some physics, chemistry, all these things. So now go back. So your Ayurveda, they take the several leaves and other things, they crush it and make it the process, and finally they are coming up from medicine. So now the medicine is working because of the not only ingredients, the process also into the picture. So that's the reason it is a multidisciplinary problem. So next, sometimes they convert into the powders, basmas. They bury it for 5-10 years. So there are several things are there. What is happening? What type of chemical reactions are taking place, and how that is making a effective medicine. Okay. So that way you can see and making to the advanced. Okay. Next slide. History of Indian science is and technology is 2 units paper you can close. That is one. And next, tribal healthcare, music therapy for agriculture and healing. Yes. Can I bring arts and agricultural practices? There is all of you might have heard womb. How many forms that is a voice sound signals are files are available in the net related to womb? Anyone knows how many varieties are there? Minimum 10 to 15. Each one is for particular purpose. So the chanting womb in a different styles, different modulation and different paths has different effects. I'm not attaching to the religion, but the effect of the sound. And the sound and our nervous system are having resonance. How you are going to exploit the coupling factor of the sound and our nervous system. So there are several courses can be taught this, and depending on my ability, you can now dance as a preventive health measure in the healthcare. How many dancers are getting heart attack? The type of statistics can be collected and combined and make the things. How many statisticians, the dancers are getting lung problems? What is the reason behind it? find it. So now can we make a IoT environment such that data collection of the dancer performing the dance and coming to the knowing the root factors for making them to be that healthy. Then I was asked to sit in some faculty room. When I came here, and we sat some time. Afterwards, when we came out, she instructed somebody to switch off the AC and fans, lights. So, is it not possible to develop a automated auditing systems? Today we have a lot of near field communication gadgets are there. So by using that, you can switch off. Yes. So is it not possible to have a courses as power auditing? And this is one of the serious problems. Something beyond your slides. Artificial womb. And next one is a digital twin. I'll spend some time on artificial womb and digital twin and near field communication. These three are going to be disastrous for the world in next 10 years. Okay. Science and political administration. See, there is a Trump said that something. What happened? There is a collapse in the financial conditions of share values and all that. Is it scientific? Or what are the so a science discovery, that is artificial womb discovery, is how it is going to make effects on this. Scientific documentation, that is a digitization. When I was discussing, they were saying that they are doing a lot of auditing and spending a lot of time in the year for making auditing reports. So is it not possible to have scientific digitization and making our life more simple and efficient, meaningful way of generating the reports? Science and technology impact on the world as well as the universe. There are a lot of impact. These are the, you can think of impact factors. How to visualize the impact of something. What are the factors? You can make a small project, self-study projects and field works. So they made a flyover. What is the impact of the flyover on the traffic, the environmental carbon monoxide and other things, and the cost and likes, dislikes? So there are several things you can think of. Mathematics and nature, I have already mentioned something. Factor geometry is the beautiful one. And now is an illusion. LLMs are creating a lot of things, and in fact, there was some interaction more than 3 hours to take short GPT, generative AI to each and everyone in AP. There was a 3 hours interaction. I was dead against that because this problem. And people already started using the recommendations given for a particular symptomatic description of the problem, health problem. It recommends some medicines. People started using that. And the worst part is some doctors also adopted and they were blacklisted. Some lawyers were adopted the recommendations given by the generative AI and this, and they were barred. So it is something, it may be useful, it is a beautiful thing, but it should not damage even if someone. So it should be in the hands of the persons who are having the wisdom. So there is several challenges are cropping up in this. So science. That is automatically this will be leading to the morals. We are already having the morals at a high school level, but what type of moral courses need to be built in presence of the developments in science and technology today? Okay, next slide. Okay, this is one example which is linking many disciplines in this. Suppose I wanted to build a speed breaker in this. As a mathematician, as a civil engineer or a transport engineer, the speed breaker must obey. Speed breaker, road is like this, bump comes like this, so it is a curve. The junctions must obey G2 continuity. I hope mathematicians will understand what is G2 continuity. So it should be obeying the G2 continuity. Is there any technique to measure that the speed breaker was laid with the G2 continuity? I don't see. Now that is loss. Whether speed breaker can be put there or not, loss management, such as transport and traffic rules, management and mathematics example I got the G2 continuity. And coming to the physics, it should be smooth. Pregnant lady should not give delivery. Yeah. Okay. Chemistry, what type of composition you are going to use there for making that compound, and computer science, that is a there is a polygon. If you ask your vendor to make something, they take rods and they bend it now with some, so that is called as a control points and control polygon. And the control polygons can be converted as a smooth one by using de Costa algorithm. Okay, in connection the constructing the speed breaker, I can use this algorithm. And pregnant lady, how it is affecting that, and auditing, is it laid properly or not, and environment, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide at the speed breaker, and then automobile, shock absorbers, what is happening to the shock absorbers? Okay, then this additive printing, additive technology, I can additive manufacturing, can I make 3D printing things, and then what is the cost? Look at speed breaker itself is a highly multidisciplinary challenging project. Next. Commerce and management. You look at the deep sea. What is the impact of the deep sea on the shares, on the American economy? Okay. So inventions are there. So invention has a thing. So next, Trump policies. Trump policies has an effect on the different countries. So there is a slash in share values and many. So you can see varieties of problems. So now the two countries are perception of understanding the country is now different than after the deep sea. The politics is going to be different. Spying characteristics or features which they are going to gather from different places is going to be different. So the change in the whole strategy is just because of the deep sea. Okay, so you have many and some courses are there. You can design a lot of courses here. One important one is portfolio management. Those in commerce and management, they know portfolio management. The portfolio management concept is a very good concept. It is useful even in the chemistry. If I wanted to make a compound, what should be the proportion of different basic elements such that the compound will be obeying certain properties. So if you teach portfolio management properly, it can be used in varieties of compound designs, alloys, many other places. Next. Government reforms and their impact. This can be one of the things. What is the impact on the economics? What is the trade and social stability? You can look at the this type of courses. Impact of globalization and the taxation of it. See now, if they say that if you LIC, if you pay LIC, if you save LIC, there is no rebate. What happens to the mindset of the earning people? Will they save anything? So this type of problems are very common. Okay. Now risk calculations. You need to have a holistic risk. You cannot think of simple the risk because of this. So when I say because why holistic approaches in the risk is now we are in the data science domain. You are going to what is data science is the fourth paradigm. Fourth paradigm is convincing others with what you got convinced. In this, the fourth paradigm, you are going to use the data to convince others. Okay, For convincing verb, you may use one data and one inference engine, another data, another inference engine, convincing the same. So that's the reason the holistic is by taking the different projections, you must be in a position to convince others. Customization, okay, that automatically, though AIML people are saying AIML, but for me it is a simply statistics and OR. Simply statistics and OR at present, but AI is supposed to be fundamentally knowledge representation and conflict resolution. These two are not given proper importance and proper weightage today in AI. Okay, fine. So how the so-called AIML tools for sustainable growth? What is a sustainable growth? Define it, and how some tool of AI is adopted, how you are projecting that it is going to be enhancing the sustainable growth. Physical education, something pictures I think you can make out of fine. I don't want to spend more time on this slide. Next slide, please. So, sports and national security. How sports can be made as a national security? So you demand, suppose that I'm playing a football, I'm a goalkeeper. So the one fellow may be running from this side and the ball is coming this side. So I need to look at all the players who are finally making to goal the football. So I cannot only concentrate on the ball. Clear? So a national security can be viewed from the sports. Game analytics. See, that is I'm playing table tennis. So whether I should be sent as a representative of the college or not. So for that, you need to develop a game analytics. And game analytics can be done for the recommender systems, player point of view, mentor's point of view, and book. Even which book I need to read, library. Which book I need to read? I have free time. Which book I need to read? That also can be made as a recommender system in this. And smart playing area. That is, you make a table tennis thing. It is a smart such that it is possible for me to do analytics. Gaming in for sports. So there is a gaming area is there. Technology. Can I bring the gaming to the sports? Actually, there is a Indian police authority. They were asking us to long back to create a lab environment to train the encounters. So indexing, how to index a player, team, ability. So like that you have many indexing is required. What we do in the library sciences, you catalog that indexing you. But this indexing is something like index numbers in mathematics, statistics. And digital systems and this just as IQAC, they should go for the digital systems, reading, comprehensive, and reproduction and evaluation. That straight away comes to the sports and health, reading and mental health, data analytics for strategic playing. Okay. Our cricket team is playing in some country. So what type of strategic customization is needed for that instance? Next slide. Global developments demanding the multidisciplinary. Next slide. LLMs, I said already, the LLMs are demanding a lot of multidisciplinary knowledge because everything is a vector. Everything is a vector now. In future, each and everything is going to be the vector. Your medical history, your the personality, your house, your document, your personal profile, all these things are going to be put into the as a vectors in the system. So that's the reason it is going to be challenge. Lot of challenges are it is multidisciplinary. Next one, artificial womb. Japanese built a artificial womb to produce I think now they are producing 1,000. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So they are producing 1,000 babies. And that is the incubator. I think they are taking the eggs. Please correct me if I'm wrong. They are collecting the eggs from the father and mother, and that will be kept. And all the rest of the things are there. The beauty is that they have one thing. They developed a patch such that the patch can be stick to the abdomen of the mother, and then they can get the whole feeding and other things.
This was also shown in a something like this.
No, this is now realistic. Not is a. See, this is now they have offered. In that they are offered. He was saying that genetic engineering, several other things. They integrated all these things. You can, the parents can say, my baby must be male. My baby height should be ultimately 6 feet.
Specifications of.
So all sorts of specifications that baby should not get this type of diseases. Okay, how these things are possible to factor? Imagine if 1,000 Salahuddins are manufactured in this manner. He was telling that social and ethical problems in his lab. When I entered, he said, "So imagine." Yes. Now, what is the genesis of deep learning? Anyone? Anyone can tell me what is the genesis of deep learning? Deep learning took birth because of they found a lot of difficulty in distinguishing the identical twins. What is the identical twins? The two babies in the same sachet from baker, same dad.
Only one fertilizer, but divorce
Yeah, but that whereas the twins can be alive. Yeah, but identical twins is the one which is there. So DNA and other forms, it is not possible to distinguish.
Yes.
After doing all the the analysis and other things, then they failed. They realized what can be. Do you know what was the solution? Anyone? In the womb, the kids will hold like this and this. The body experiences different stress. Because of the different stress, they palm prints, footprints are going to form. So these two babies were facing different pressures, different stress. As a result, palm prints and other things are different. So that led to the deep learning. Right? So there is a lot. Something more need to be learned to classify. So this is another serious problem. It has a multidisciplinary problem. How to address this type of things? Many. It is not the problem. Why it is started is there are some places the people cannot give birth. There are some female they cannot carry the baby because of their physical. No, that's it. This whole invention went positively in that manner, but adverse. That is something like a Nobel Prize. No. Next, dystonia. Recently, 15 days back, the San Diego University published their results. Mice brain. They have created a virtual brain by using sensors and other things, all IoT, that is near field communication thing. With so whatever is happening in the brain is immediately reflected on the virtual brain. So that's the reason it's called the brain. It is not simulation. It is called one way is a cloning. It is one way is cloning, but it is a real time now. It is this in cloning it will function independently, but it is a coupled now. Whatever is happening in the real, it is going to happen here. Whatever is happening here, that is that much real time communication and controls they are able to manage. Fine. Now, earlier slide, 1,000 subapplications are there, and all are 1,000 are digital mini. Imagine they are also digital mini. One is destroying the one place, others also destroy the other place. Alluri Sitara Ramaraju can be 1,000. Yes, this is the one. So it is all because of the achievement and the precision in near field communication, edge intelligence. We are making. So these are all going to percolate in a different ways into the common man. So can you make courses, 1 credit, 2 credit, 3 credit courses, such that awareness is spread? I don't want you to make them to technologically strong. Awareness. Is it possible to bring some awareness to courses? Next slide. Near field. I was discussing with her. Then why attendance we need to take in the class? Can't I have a near field systems such that attendance is automatically taken? Okay. So next slide. I think I'm done. So ultimately low cost. Until that is leading to low cost. 1 or 2 minutes more. Next. Yeah. This is the one I wanted to tell you. That is listening others. Develop the habit of listening others, collaborating skills, convincing more rather than imposing. Whatever I said, I should convince you. I should not impose this to people. Convincing more and pro till you appreciate others. Pro till you appreciate others. Next, keep the self away. Okay, then use we rather than I and you. But understand the problem, project your understanding and invite others' perceptions. I understood that this artificial boom in particular manner. I spent few minutes on that. Maybe if I ask his views, he will give a digital artificial boom, his views. Like that, everyone can give. That can be consolidated and made a interdisciplinary problem or multidisciplinary problem. Okay. Identify associated. After this, identify associated disciplines, environment, factor, how you can. Now, once you have made some block diagram, analyze carefully. You analyze it. How collaboration can across the departments. Think critically and collaborate across the departments. This is analyzing, think critically, collaborating, and applying for building the things. Building the things. Design, develop, and app multidisciplinary synthetic synthesis use cases. Synthetic and use cases. Test what you have done is working well. Fine. With this, next. Sorry, I hope I did a wise thing, skipping all other references.
Thank you very much, sir, for a highly insightful and thoughtful working session. We'll now have a short question and answer session.
I interpret the no question coming is not failure of me, it is a lack of. It is a cross. You are crossing the threshold. Yeah, please. No, the vector which is coming out is always assigned. It is always subjective. You now when I say this is having the x value is this, y value is this, that depends on the subjective access system that I am getting. It cannot be once you make it is a subjective. When you write a poem or when you write a report, it is a subjective report. It is not an objective report. Though you are thinking that you are doing objectively, your subjectivity will influence it. Your personality will influence. So that's the reason these vectors are. That's the reason what they do. They take different guides, different people, and for each they build a vectors and then they department's meeting. What is your view like that is for the loss. All these things are now different versions and those are consolidated and finally amicable rules. So the vector which is coming is subject to. Even aggregation is finally going to be subject to in the present. I cannot think of object. I can have objective process to come up subject to vector representation to make it meaningful. But unless it is for a 10th class student, you have to teach subjectively only. I cannot think objectively in a Pythagoras theorem.
Anyone?
I think you asked me a very good question, which I did not answer.
If someone is there to guide us, then we can.
You can disturb me. I have intuition. See, the problem is that don't think of borrowing. Try to build what is needed. You have a concept now. At least this workshop giving you some concept. Build what is needed for this. And that's the reason I took only your departments. Okay. Sorry, I crossed the 4 o'clock line. Please, I could not control my thought process of delivering. Thank you very much for your patience and listening as well as staying more than the stereotype. You are also one of the resource persons.
May I have the attention of all the participants? I request all the faculty members to scan the QR code which is provided on the display and give your valuable feedback. Request you all to use your scanners.
No, no, not in group. We are, yes, we are doing the great.
Sir, your session has been truly enlightening and inspiring. We are deeply thankful for the time and wisdom you have shared with us. Thank you so much. May I now request our respected principal, Dr. St.Ann, and our convener of workshop, Dr. Srikalama, and additional coordinator, Dr. Francina, to felicitate Rausel as a token of appreciation. Thank you, everyone. With this, I now invite Dr. Francina, additional IPC coordinator, and take the program forward. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. As we come to the close of this enriching and insightful national workshop on the role of multidisciplinary education under NEP 2020, organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of our college, I welcome you all to the valedictory session. This workshop has truly been a journey of learning, reflection, and forward thinking. It gives me immense pleasure to present to you a very brief report of this national workshop. This one-day workshop was thoroughly structured into 4 sessions, each focusing on key aspects of multidisciplinary education in the light of NEP 2020. The first session and the second session, we had Professor Rajshekhar sir. He enlightened us about multidisciplinary education and employability skills. Sir's address focused on dynamic link between multidisciplinary learning and employability. Sir shared how equipping students with cross-domain knowledge, communication skills, critical thinking, digital literacy, and teamwork will enhance their career readiness in today's competitive and complex job market. Sir also enlightened us about various models for skill integration, industry academia collaboration, and curriculum reforms as such. Session 3 was on biological sciences in the NEP era towards integration, innovation, and impact by Dr. Naresh Babu sir, professor from Department of Biochemistry from School of Life Sciences, University of Hyderabad. Sir's session focused on how biological sciences can be reimagined within the multidisciplinary framework. Sir addressed the urgent need to integrate life sciences with technology, environmental sciences, humanities, and also in policy making. The session also emphasized the importance of research-based learning, interdisciplinary projects, and fostering innovation in life sciences. Session 4 was on need for multidisciplinary education by Shri C. Raghavendra Rao sir. Sir laid foundation by elaborating on basic but yet core concepts of multidisciplinary education. Sir also emphasized the importance of breaking traditional education and also laid the foundation to bridge the gap of all the disciplines and also creating an academic ecosystem that encourages holistic, flexible, and inclusive learning. The session highlighted examples of best practices in each of our domains: physical sciences, life sciences, social sciences, languages, commerce, and management. Sir also emphasized on multidisciplinary structure and interdisciplinary structure in Indian higher educational institutions. I now invite the participants to come forward and share their insights or reflections you have had during the workshop. May I request you to please come forward? Okay, we'll have Nasreen, Head Department of Nutrition, who will share her reflections about the workshop.
A very good afternoon to everybody present here. At the outset, I would like to thank Sister Principal and the whole of IPSC team, Dr. Francina ma'am, Dr. Srikala ma'am, and the whole of IPSC team for organizing this wonderful workshop. I remember Francina ma'am a few days ago in the waiting area in your principal's office, I was telling you, "Hey, ma'am, we are exhausted, we need something to boost up." It was definitely a booster. Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you, speaker and ma'am, for seeing the future and making sure that we all are updated with what is to come. Because we as teachers, if we do not upskill and update our knowledge, it is difficult for us to impart the same to our students. So I have learned a lot, and I'm sure all my colleagues have also learned, and we are going to definitely practice this and take it forward so that our students as a whole benefit from the teaching that we impart. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nasreen. We are always with you all for any kind of innovation that will be involved. May I request Sarita? Anybody else from the audience who would like to share your experience or reflections? Okay, Suma ma'am from Department of Commerce.
Good evening, all the delegates and respected sisters. NEP is a goal and gain, and there's a lot of bottlenecks mentioned like inconsistency, language barrier, language proficiency, and lot of other exit, lateral transfers, everything. But the mantra for us today is get ready for future, and that is the mantra where we need to upskill the skill sets, not only the faculty, but also for the students. Thank you, IPs.
Thank you, ma'am. I thank all the participants, especially Nasreen and Suma ma'am, for sharing your reflections. Thank you, ma'am. Now we come to a moment of appreciation and recognition. I take great pleasure in inviting our dear principal, Dr. Sister A. Vijayarani, our chief guest for the valedictory session, Sri C. Raghavendra Rao sir, also Naresh sir, to join us for the valedictory session to distribute the certificates to the participants. I request Dr. Srikala ma'am to accompany them and come forward to do the honors. Because of paucity of time,
we are only going to distribute a few certificates of participation, and these certificates are going to be given to the deans, HODs, and few senior faculty. The others can collect it from us in the month of June. So now I invite Manika ma'am to kindly come forward. Shri ma'am. Disha. Dr. S. Nirmala, research scholar from Vellore Institute of Technology. Dr. Venugopal sir. Ms. Jaya. Dr. Tasneem. Ms. Kyle. Ms. Sujata from BBA. Dr. Bharati. Mrs. Lavanya. Dr. Srinivas. Ms. Bramra ma'am. Ms. Sohair. Ms. Sunita. Ms. Sarita. Mrs. Sushma. Mrs. Rajalakshmi. Mrs. Rajalakshmi from library. Dr. Vasudha. Dr. Kirti. Ms. Shailaja ma'am. Ms. Pushpalata. Dr. Santoshi. Thank you, Naresh sir. Thank you, Ravindra sir. Thank you, Srikala ma'am. Thank you, Sister Principal, for doing the honors. Gratitude is the fairest blossom that springs from the soul. To express our heartfelt thanks, I invite Dr. D. Srikala, Dean Academics IQAC Coordinator, Head Department of Statistics and Convener of the workshop to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you is the best prayer that any form of heart can make. Distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, participants and the management, a very good evening to everyone. I would like to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to each and every one of you on behalf of IQAC and management of St.Ann's College for Women for making this workshop a reality that is on the contemporary topic, role of multidisciplinary education under NEP 2020. My humble thanks to our distinguished speakers of this day who obliged our request and spared time from their valuable and very busy schedules and spent time with us, sharing their intellect, expertise, and insights. Thank you very much, sir, to all of you. This enriches our understanding on multidisciplinary education. My appreciation and thanks to all the participants for your presence and definitely active engagement and thought-provoking questions in most of the time sessions. My sincere gratitude to our dear principal and the management for their continuous support to organize events like this for keeping abreast with the times. I heartily thank technical and audio-visual support team comprising of Mr. Jagadishwar, Mr. Ravi, Mr. Sundar, Mr. Uma Maheshwar, and also auxiliary staff, without whom we can't imagine a day, without refreshments, without lunch and arranging the hall, everything. They're all the people behind for us to sit here comfortably and then take the inputs. I thank all of them, and this made our workshop a seamless experience. I thank everyone who contributed to the success of this workshop, directly or indirectly. Last but not least, my big thanks to Smart IQAC team for working with diligence and commitment. The team comprises of myself, Dr. Mary Francina, Dr. Santoshi Misra, Dr. Tasneem Jahan, Dr. Nishat Fatima, Ms. Nazia Fatima, Ms. Indira Priyadarshini, Ms. Rajeshwari, Ms. Santoshi Rupa, Ms. Kayal, the youngest of all, and IQAC admin staff, Ms. Shobha and Ms. Ragashri. But for their relentless efforts, this academic event wouldn't have been possible. All of you are tired, but this is the last working day for us. I think we can cope with tiredness and recover tomorrow. As we conclude this workshop, let us carry forward the inspiration and knowledge gained working together to shape the future of the education in India. Thank you once again, and I wish you all a wonderful, enriching times ahead. Let us all raise the national anthem. After national anthem, kindly don't disperse. We all assemble in our regular place for our group photograph with our resource person sirs also. Please don't forget this. After national anthem, all of you assemble in our regular place group for a group photo. Yeah, now we will have the national anthem.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाये तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हे
Yeah, just quickly go down.
They ready cards.
Yes, sister. We have